crafty friends. Happy Friday and welcome to Flosstube. Today is July 23rd, I think. And we're here for some cross stitching. If you're new here, my name is Jessie and this is mislaidpages. This is the channel where I talk about all my crafty stuff. Flosstube is where I talk about cross stitching specifically, all the stitching related stuff that I do. I generally do a knit cast. I'm doing about every other week at this point, where I talk about my knitting and yarny stuff and fiber arts and that kind of stuff. So that's the main thrust of the channel. I do some other stuff as well, including diamond painting and just whatever crafty stuff I get into. So I hope you enjoy what you're seeing, and welcome. And for those of you who are returning, welcome back. Happy to have you every week. Yeah, it's been a long week, y'all. So last week I was struggling with just getting back into the swing of things after vacation. This week I've not been feeling physically great. I've had a lot of migraines and some headaches and just general fatigue because of various things. Some of that is just normal hormonal stuff. Some of that is, I think, just the pressure changes and the weird weather. We've had a lot of storms lately. So kind of, if I seem low energy today, that's why, because I'm still struggling. I'm feeling better today than I did yesterday and the day before, but yesterday was pretty awful. I woke up with a terrible migraine, and I had also done something to my neck and shoulder so that I was like barely functional most of the day yesterday. So at least I'm functional today. I'm still tired and still headachy, but yeah, we're making it, and that's all we can ask, right? So yeah, I hope you all are well. I hope you've been having a good week, or at least the best week that is available to you. Lots of stuff going on in the world, so I hope you are as well as you can be. So yeah, what have I been watching? I've been watching the same stuff that I've been watching, though I've been seeing movies now. The theaters are back open, and it's safer to go to the theater and that kind of stuff. So I have been seeing movies. We just saw, my husband and I, we saw Escape Room 2, Tournament of Champions. And while it was absolutely no feat of cinematic brilliance, it was exactly what I expected it to be. And what more can you ask, right? So it was, it's set up as a psychological thriller, less psychological and more just like along the lines of the Saw movies, right? But it's, there's not a lot of psychology to it. There's a little bit of puzzle solving, the characters having to figure out what's going on in the room to find out how to move to the next room, that kind of stuff. If you're familiar with escape rooms at all, you kind of have the gist of it. You get into a room and you have to figure out how to get out of the room. The difference with the escape room movies is that if you can't find out how to get out of the room quickly enough, then you die. Just little difference there. Just small difference. So yeah, we saw Escape Room 2, and it was everything I expected it to be. So it was, it was an enjoyable way to spend a couple hours. Not a hugely story driven kind of situation, but there are some actors that I appreciate, not the least of which the lead actress in the movies is the same actress who plays the oldest sister in Lost in Space, the revamped version that they did on Netflix over the last couple of years, and she's pretty good. So we also have and I don't remember their names, I apologize. We also have the actress from True Blood, who played the baby vampire, Jessica the baby vampire. If you all watched True Blood on HBO years ago, she's a fantastic actress. I love her, and she has a cameo. So yeah, that's really all we're there for. Coming up this week, Snake Eyes, which is a G.I. Joe movie, which personally is not really my bag, but my husband is super into it. Adam is just like all about it. He has been dying to see Snake Eyes since he saw the first preview. So we'll be seeing that soon. And then also M. Night Shyamalan has a new movie out called Old, which looks really intriguing to me. And I'm always down for an M. Night Shyamalan a new gig from him, because you never know when you're going to happen upon another one of those gems that he's made. So I had a conversation with a friend yesterday about which of his movies were good and which of his movies were less good, and it was interesting that she and I were on completely opposite ends of the spectrum as far as the movies that we thought were good. One of my favorites has always been Lady in the Water, and she's like, "Oh, well, that one's critically acclaimed. Of course, it's good." And I'm like, the fact that it's critically acclaimed doesn't make it good. But it is one of my favorites, and it's one of the things that I have loved about M. Night Shyamalan. If you separate out The Sixth Sense from his portfolio of movies, the thing that I really love about his storytelling is that there are layers to it, and there's the story within the story. This is really, really true of the trilogy that started with Unbreakable. So there's Unbreakable, there's Split, and then I think the last one is called Glass or Mr. Glass. I can't remember. But those three movies together tell a really interesting story within a story about superheroes and about superpowers and things like that. And it's just his examination of the modern fairy tale is just really compelling. So I love the fact that he layers things. So I'm always excited to see what his next joint is going to be. Like, is it going to try to be something like The Happening, where it's hard to tell what's going on? Is it going to end up being something like The Village, where the ending is kind of disappointing? And that's where my friend and I differed, because she thought The Village was one of the better ones. In my opinion, The Village is probably one of the worst ones, but to each their own. So, The Sixth Sense has its very like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that was happening moment, which makes it a whole different thing than most of his other movies. And one of the problems I think he's had is because he started out with this movie that had such a twist, this like, that it's such a twist that it became a meme about the twists, right? And then his other movies don't have that same twist, but there's still layers upon layers of things happening in some of these other movies. So anyway, I'm really interested to watch Old and see what's going to happen in that movie. So yeah, that's coming on the horizon. As far as stuff that I'm watching at home, we've been watching our regular anime. My Hero Academia is back on with new episodes on Cartoon Network. So we're watching that. We're watching Food Wars, which is one of the weirdest animes ever. It defies description, but you should watch it. It's on Cartoon Network as well, or Toonami on Adult Swim, however you want to say it, and a couple others. So we're watching those, catching up on those, and then I'm still watching Bones, but I'm in season 11 now, so Bones is not going to last much longer. In fact, I don't know if I'll finish it this weekend, but I think there's probably a pretty decent shot, especially if I do what I have been doing, which is basically, while the television is on, it's on Bones, whether I'm watching it or not. So there's a decent possibility I will run out of Bones this weekend. So that's what I'm watching. Not listening to anything at the moment, though, I keep hoping that'll change. For whatever reason, I need the moving picture. Even if I'm not watching the moving picture, my brain needs the moving picture. Maybe, this is a side note, a weird side note. I just happen to think maybe the reason that I want the TV on while I'm doing things is because it's similar to body doubling. So body doubling, if you're not familiar, is this concept for ADHD folks. Well, it's probably not just for ADHD folks, but it's a helpful thing for ADHD folks. So when you have trouble with executive dysfunction, you have trouble just getting started on a task, it can really help you to have a person sit with you. They don't have to be doing the same thing. They don't have to be helping you with the task. They just being in the same room while you're trying to accomplish a physical task can actually, just the fact that person is there can actually help you do the thing. So maybe that's why I want the TV, because it's sort of like virtual body doubling. Yeah, it's been a week for weird epiphanies. I've had some interesting epiphanies this week. Yeah, so anyway, that maybe that's another one. So yeah, that's what I'm doing as far as that goes. I do have some Happy Mail. I have some WIPs. I worked on some cross stitch this week, so I have some whips to show you. I have a finish to show you. That's exciting. And I'll talk about my intentions for the weekend, because this weekend is 24 hours of cross stitch weekend. So so yeah, there's stuff to talk about. I also have a few purchases that have arrived. It's going to look like a mirror of last week based on that. But let's get into the happy mail, and then we'll talk about cross stitching. How's that? How's that? Okay. So I talked last week about Tracy Horner of Ink Circles, that she had sent some happy mail, and I remember to bring the happy mail in into the room this time. So these are super cute. So occasionally, this doesn't happen every single month, but occasionally Tracy will send out whatever she can fit into a regular envelope that she can put a postage stamp on. She'll send that out. I feel like I'm trying to I didn't get my framing quite right, so I feel like I'm way down here. So anyway, let me see if I can sit up straight. I need to sit up. I slouch too much. Okay. So occasionally she will send snail mail so that she can use a postage stamp and all that sort of stuff. So this time we got this cute little, if I can keep the, yeah. So we got this cute little card that doesn't look very focused when I look at it in the camera. Put it back here. I guess that's better. I don't know. I look very clear. Everything else that I hold up looks incredibly unclear. So we got this card, and it says "Hello, friend," and this is a card to use to give to somebody else. So it's blank. It's blank, but it's got the ink circles on the back of it. I don't know if it makes it better if I hold it closer, but it's blank, so it can be used to send it to a friend. And it says "Hello, friend." I don't know why you need to see an envelope, but there we go. So yeah, it's super cute. Sort of a watercolor or maybe pen and ink drawing of this rabbit talking to a bird. It's really cute. So that was the main thing. There's this little thing that I didn't open. It's in this cute little vellum envelope. I think this is just basically a thank you note. Thanks for your support on Patreon. My best, Tracy. Yeah, so it's just it's a teeny tiny thank you card that is not at all showing up on camera. But it's a teeny tiny little thank you card. We've got a couple of stickers. These are super cool. So these are made from actual watercolor paintings that she has done, some mandalas that she has painted. She's a fantastic artist, as well as a really great cross-stitch chart designer, so just FYI. But yeah, so those are some happy little things that she sent this month. And I also got my latest Kate, so let's see what latest Kate sent this month. I got both of these because I am patrons of both of these artists. So Tracy Horner of Ink Circles and the latest Kate on Patreon. You can also support them if you would like. There are different levels. Pardon the crinkling while I get this out of the package. But you're welcome to support them. I support them because I love their art. I love the messages that they put out into the world. Tracy Horner lately too has been sharing all kinds of finishing techniques and just different kinds of fun things on her Patreon. So you know, if you like these artists too, if you want to support these artists too, then go over to Patreon and check them out. Like I said, there's various different levels that you can support them at. I support the latest Kate at the level that I get 2 3x5 or 5x7 prints, as well as a magnet every month. So I'm going to read this and then hold it up. Even while you are feeling truly awful, you deserve nice things. And I say this again and again, but I love the messages that the latest Kate puts out. They're a lot about self-acceptance, about dealing with anxiety, dealing with depression, and that sort of thing. And a lot of her messages are just meant to remind us that we are worthy, and we are enough, and we deserve good things, regardless of, you know, how we might feel about ourselves in the moment. And not only that, but to remind us that the bad feelings that we have are not permanent. You know, we will get past them. We will feel better. There are brighter days ahead. Even if today is really, really difficult, tomorrow could be better. So just keep moving forward. So you deserve nice things. And this one, let's see. You are not a burden to not today, not ever. And this is really important for some of us as well, because it can be easy to feel like you as a person, because you have so much that you're dealing with, are a burden to others. And, you know, that's not true. The people that love you never believe you're a burden. So don't feel like you're a burden. Not today, not ever. So those are the prints for this month. And then the magnet is a cute little seal. Progress is still progress, no matter how small. There's a little seal who's like super fuzzy in the camera. This one's hard to see because he's on a pale background. But how cute. How cute, right? I love these magnets. Okay, so that's my happy mail for this go round. Actually, let me leave the magnet out because that goes on the fridge. I have all of my magnets on the fridge to help remind me, and also just to brighten everything up because I love her artwork. Okay. So there we have it for happy mail. So let's talk about WIPs. Let's talk about WIPs. So, when last we spoke, I was going to finish up Tiny Overlord. Welcome, Tiny Overlord. Now I have since decided, I think I had mostly decided when I talked about this last, that this was originally intended as a gift for a specific person. At the time they were, actually when I started this, I realized when I started this, the baby had already been born. It was going to be a birth announcement. But you know, things have changed. Our relationship has changed. The world's like, just things are different now. And also the baby is over a year old. And it's just a situation now where I don't feel like it's the right thing to give this to that person anymore. I also don't feel like this is the right thing to give to anybody else at the moment. I do have another friend who I just recently found out is expecting. I don't know what sex the baby is. So this is this particular Welcome Tiny Overlord was originally intended for a child that we knew was going to be a boy, or that the parents knew was going to be a boy. So they had already decided that they wanted to go with blues and grays for the baby's room. So that's why I went with the colors that I went with. So it's a whole lot of convoluted stuff. So ultimately what I decided is that I was going to go ahead and finish it because I had started it, but I think this is going to end up being destashed. I'm gonna either give this away, or I will use it to raise money for charity or something like that, because there's nothing wrong with it. It just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just it no longer feels right to give it to the original, the intended recipient, and I don't feel right giving it to anybody else. So I'm going to, at some point, put it out there for somebody else to pick up and see if they want to make it, or add to it, or whatever, what have you, to give to somebody else. So anyway, all that is to say, I finished it. Technically, this isn't finished according to the way it's charted, because it's actually charted with with decorative lines in between each word. And I was gonna go ahead and stitch them, but like I said, I was having a lot of thoughts and feelings and stuff, because I could have just gone ahead and stitched them with this blue and gray that I have used. Let me so this blue and gray, this is a fabulous hank of hand-dyed cotton that I got from yes, Kathy Davidson, just double checking, because for a second I thought it was Be Stitch Me, but no, this is a hand-dyed cotton floss from Dying for Cross Stitch, Kathy Davidson. And it's fabulous. I love it. It's gorgeous. And I was thinking about just doing the lines in that color, but then I was overthinking and double thinking and whatever, partly because I felt like it probably needed more of a pop than that was going to give it. So then I was like, well, maybe I'll put, a more intense blue to give it some accent. And then I was like, but if I'm giving this to if I end up giving this to somebody else, a different person, maybe they won't be having a boy. Maybe they'll be having a different, maybe the baby won't be a boy. And so then I was like, well, maybe I'll do pink lines, and then it can be good for either a boy or a girl. And then I was like, but honestly, and this is completely separate of any of this. I've been struggling with just gender in general. Like it's a weird thing to say, but especially like for me these days, the idea of creating things that are in specific colors because the baby's going to be born as a specific sex. It's just, I have a thing about it. It's a thing. I don't want to get into it right here, right now, but like I have some feelings about color coding children and you know, forcing gender on children as soon as they're born. Anyway, so I have some feelings. So I was having lots of feelings because I was like, well, I want to make it so that it could be for either a boy or a girl. And then ultimately I decided, you know what, since I'm going to end up gifting this or destashing it or something, and it's going to end up belonging to somebody else, I will just finish the words, because that's a very particular kind of floss that you're not going to just be able to pick up at the store. I will finish the words and I will leave it like that. And then whoever gets this next can decide what needs to happen with it. So that's where we are. It's a long explanation to say I'm done. I decided to finish it. This piece is full of angst for me, and it needs to go be somewhere where it can be full of love. Cross stitch shouldn't be so complicated, right? I don't know. But yeah, so I have lots of angst about this. I have lots of, I don't know. So now I have finished this part. And at some point I will figure out how to put this out into the world so that somebody can put some love into it and send it on to its final home. It was funny because I did have a comment somewhere on YouTube this week where somebody was saying that their cats were tiny overlords. And I was like, you know, if I rethink about this, and instead of it being a baby announcement, it's just about cats, then, you know, that's fantastic. But still and yet, I have made this, and it was made with the intention of giving it away. So it's going to be given away somewhere, somehow. But it's finished. So I have a July finish. So far this year, June is the only month I don't have a finish for, which kind of makes me feel motivated to try to get another finish in July, so that I'm 7 for 7 for the year for 2021. Like words. Okay. So I finished that. It's done. It's going to go away at some point. I don't often feel that way about cross stitch. Usually I'm just like, yay, it's finished, and I'll put it in this box, and eventually I will fully finish it. I have a box of we'll call them UFOs. They're maybe they're like UFOs because they're unfully finished. They're finished, but they're not fully finished. UFOs? I don't know. Buffo. It's my Buffo, my box of unfully finished objects. I'm not even drinking coffee this time, y'all. There's no coffee. This is my brain on fatigue, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so that's done. That's done. What else did I do this week? Well, I finally started the Twisted Rainbow Sampler. I finally did. Look. And here is my Lady Rainicorn needle minder that I made from my teal teacup enamel pin of Lady Rainicorn. I'm so happy with her. She's so cute. I thought she was perfect for this. So, especially because I got a special needle minder to go with my Trans Pride tapestry. So I have the special dedicated needle minder for that. So I decided to use Lady Rainicorn for this. So as you can see, I haven't done a ton. And I guess that's, I may put a photo in here for you because I don't know how well that's gonna, I'll look at it and post. I may put a photo in there for you. As you can see, I finished the very top corner, which is half of the butterfly. I am nearly done with the top of the butterfly, which is this orange color. So it won't be long before I actually get into, excuse me, the specialty stitches. All this down here. So you can see me and the cross stitching at the same time. So yeah, it won't be long before I do the specialty stitches. Kind of my goal, my interest, my intention for the weekend, especially since it's 24 hours of cross stitch weekend, I would like to at least start, if not finish, the first section of specialty stitches before the end of the weekend. That's what I would like to do with this piece before I move on and start working on something else. So yeah, but I finally got it started. I've got, I don't know, 400 stitches in here. I had a slight setback because I had been working on this area where the antennas are, and I got off on my count and had to rip it back. So I didn't lose a lot of stitches, but I did lose some time. So yeah, that's where we are with that. So this, the chart is Twisted Rainbow Sampler from Northern Expressions Needlework. The fabric is a piece of Stonehenge linen, 32 count, from Bestitch Me. So this was one of the semi-recent, fabrics of the month from Bestitch Me. So, and I really love, how the dinky dyes are looking on that dark fabric. Oh, and the threads are dinky dye silk. So if you've been watching for any length of time, you know that, let's see, I'm trying to hold this so you can actually, this is not working. Trying to hold it so you can see all the things, and all I'm really doing is just looking weird. Okay, so let me just put this down. If you've been following for any length of time, you know that I carry the Northern Expressions Needlework. I carry this particular chart, the Twisted Rainbow Sampler, in the Etsy shop, as well as the Dinky Dye Silk Pack that it comes with. I have decided to extend my donations to the Trevor Project through the entire summer. So if you buy a full set, which is the chart, either the cross stitch or specialty stitch version, along with the silk pack, then I will donate $10 from that sale to the Trevor Project. I do have, I think I have one set that was ordered in the last 2 weeks or so. So I do have $10 to donate to the Trevor Project in the coming weeks. And, you know, any other sales that I get of the full set, I will absolutely donate $10 more for each of those sets to the Trevor Project through the end of the summer. So that's until September 1st. So just FYI. I will also let you know, because I only just discovered this earlier this week, if you're not into the paper charts, because that's all I have, I don't have the ability to sell PDF versions of any of the charts that I have available in the Etsy shop, and that is due to a lot of different things. But the basic thing is, most of the time, the chart designers will sell the PDFs themselves. And so they don't often give license to retailers like me to sell the PDF charts. So chances are, unless you see in the Etsy shop that it's a chart I've designed, I'm not going to have a PDF for you. So I had a customer ask if a PDF was available, or if I was selling the PDF, and I said, no, I only have the paper charts. And that's the truth. I only have paper charts. They actually went and found themselves that Northern Needlework, or Northern Expressions Needlework, has an Etsy shop of its own where they sell the PDFs of their charts. So if you're not into the paper chart, I totally get it. I'm a Pattern Keeper user myself. I really enjoy using Pattern Keeper to keep track of my cross-stitching projects, or to keep track of the charts, and to use those to mark off my stitches and stuff. It's fantastic. So if you are interested in stitching this, but you want a PDF version of it, Northern Expressions Needlework has their own Etsy shop, and I will try to remember to link it in the bottom down here, in the box down here, because I actually went and bought myself. I have a paper copy. Because I have a paper copy. I've been planning on doing it for ages, but when I realized that there's a PDF available, I went and bought the PDF as well. So so eventually I'll probably destash or regift my my paper chart, because I don't need it now that I have the PDF chart. So that's a thing for you too. Yeah, so just a little plug there. What else was I going to say about that? I don't remember. I feel like there was something else I was going to say. But yeah, so that's Twisted Rainbow Sampler. I am using the hashtag don't get it twisted, for my Twisted Rainbow Sampler, just FYI. I know there are some other folks still working on Twisted Rainbow Sampler, so yay. Yeah. So let's talk about 24 hours of cross stitch weekend. If you're not familiar, 24 hours of cross stitch, hashtag 24HOCS, is a little thing. Is a concept that was originally thought up. It's the brainchild of Jen Lee over at Quirks and Stitches on YouTube. And the idea was just to, it's sort of a challenge it's a challenge to stitchers. So the idea is that you either stitch 24 hours straight, or you spend the weekend and try to get 24 hours of cross stitching in across the weekend. And the whole idea behind it is just to make some time for stitching. That's all it's really about. So what Jen generally does is that she hangs out with her mom, and she and her mom do a marathon stitching event over the weekend. Well, event. I say event, but it's not like they televise it or put it on YouTube. It's just that it's an event for the two of them. So they hang out and they stitch, and they try to do 24 hours straight, because that's how they roll. This year, this particular weekend, Jen is not able to do that. I think she has to work or something. She posted in the Facebook group. Regardless, that's when she pointed out that really the weekend is less about driving yourself to get 24 hours straight or anything like that. It's more just about making some time for stitching and having some time with your stitching and with whoever you enjoy stitching with. So that's the general idea. Is just it's a specific weekend 4 times a year, to try to eke out some time for you and your stitching and your stitching friends. So this particular 24 hours of cross stitch weekend, or the last several, I haven't tried to plan. I'm not one of those. There are a lot of people who are like uber planners. And so, in fact, one of you, and I can't remember, you posted on Instagram, and I can't remember what your handle is. But I saw that you have this really spiffy chart of the 24 hours, and you had like plans on what you're going to do for each hour and all that sort of stuff. And that's really awesome. A lot of people do that. They're like uber planners, and the first hour I'm going to work on this, and the second hour I'm going to work on this, and I'm going to do this and this and this. And they plan out their snacks, and they plan out what they're going to watch or listen to, or, all this sort of stuff. Just like, and that's great. I think it's fantastic if you're that kind of person. I tried to do that at the outset. And the first weekend that I did was, a semi-success. And so I thought I needed to be more organized for the second weekend I did. But then after that, I was like, you know what, this is too much work. It's too much like work. And I find that I don't have as much enjoyment of it if I plan too much, because when I make plans, they become expectations, and when they become expectations, it feels like an obligation, and there's the plans for me, this is not for everybody, but plans for me tend to breed opportunities for failure. So when it's an intention, when it's something that I want to do, something that I'm just going to do to have fun at, there's not the opportunity for failure, because I'm just doing a thing for fun. And if I'm doing it, and that's what cross stitch should be. It should be a thing that you're doing for fun. So for me, I've taken out the planning portion. I've taken out the rigidness and and all of that stuff. And so when I do 24 hours of cross stitch weekend, it's mostly just, my main goal is just to do as much cross stitch as I enjoy doing. And if I hit 24 hours, that's awesome. And if I don't hit 24 hours, that's totally fine too, because it's just about having fun stitching. And this weekend works out fairly well, even though it kind of caught me off guard. I forgot about it completely until last week. It works out fairly well because Adam is working all weekend. So I'm up to my own devices, which is nice, which means I can set my own schedule completely, and I can stay up late stitching if I want to. I can sleep all day if I want to. I can do it however I feel like doing it. So I do plan on participating for 24 hours of cross stitch weekend. I do have some intentions that I'm setting for myself for the weekend. One I already talked about is Twisted Rainbow Sampler. I do want to get into the specialty stitches section. I don't know how long it's going to take to get into and get through it, so we'll see. I also plan on putting in a decent amount of time on my my model stitch, because I had wanted, my goal a month or so ago was to try to have it finished by the end of July. don't see that happening. I think I talked about this last week. I'm maybe 50% of the way finished with it. So getting the other 50% in the next 2 weeks, that's not realistic is the word I'm looking for. It's not realistic. So I'm not going to hold myself to that deadline. But I do want to put in some good hours on it this weekend. I need to send an update to the designer, you know, that kind of thing. So that's one of my focus pieces. And then the other focus piece will be, and I should have pulled this out before I started filming. I never do this. There we go. I think my other focus piece is going to be Relentless. I think I'm going to take Relentless back out and put in some stitches, mostly because for the last few days I've been feeling a yen for it. I'm just, there's something in it that my brain is like, I want to go back to it. I want to go back to it. I think part of it is I just really enjoyed the flowing of the colors and the feel of the silk on the linen and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. My heart wants to do it, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow my heart. So that's the thing. So yeah, those are the main 3 things that I'm thinking I'll be working on. I might work on more or less. Who knows? I have plenty of WIPs. I actually just finally did a WIP inventory yesterday. I knew I had 20-ish WIPs. It turns out I have about 25. Even for the finishes that I have done this year, I've done 6 finishes now this year. Even for that, I have more WIPs now than I started with. I think I had 22 at the beginning of the year. So, but that's okay. It's okay. I'm going to continue on my goal to try to finish a piece every month. We'll see if I can keep up with that. I'm running out of smaller pieces to finish, so. But basically, like, there's no magic number of WIPs that I want to have or don't want to have. It's more just I want to make sure that I'm starting things and ultimately that I'm working on those things and not just starting things and letting them languish forever. So like my sort of loose goal is to finish the year with about the same number of WIPs that I started the year with. So that means that I don't have to tell myself, no, you can't start anything until you finish things. But it also, you know, it gives me room to start new things, but it also encourages me to finish things. So for me, it's a great balance of the motivation to finish, but the not letting myself just start everything in the world. So speaking of new starts, speaking of new starts and models, actually. So I have, I think I've picked my fabric for the Creepy Cryptids. I'll show you a couple options here in a second. Because they're in the things that I ordered and have received now. But I think I'm probably not going to start Creepy Cryptids until September. So Creepy Cryptids is from the Witchy Stitcher. If you didn't watch last week's Flosstube, it's a new stitch along coming out from the Witchy Stitcher. And the first drop is actually August 1st, and that's going to be the frame. So that's just the frame of the piece. The first actual cryptid, so the first real piece of the stitch along, doesn't happen until September 1st, and I may wait until September 1st, just because I want to join in, but I don't feel motivated to stitch an entire frame all at one time. And part of that is because I feel relatively certain that I will miscount something, and then I'll have to rip the entire frame out before I can finish. So my my thinking is, if I stitch any part of the frame before September 1st, it will only be just enough that I'm getting things going before the September 1st drop, and then I'll stitch the rest of the frame as I stitch each piece. So that's my thing there. So that's a new start that I intend on doing at some point in the future. I also just picked up another model stitch because why not? Let's stitch all the model stitches. But this is like a really low key Not that the other one is not low-key, but there's no deadline for this in particular because the designer's already selling her designs on Etsy. She was just looking for folks to test stitch or to model stitch her pieces so that she could have some pictures of actually stitched items to include with those listings. So they're already available. I don't have to be all secretive. I'm trying to remember the name of the designer. Probably I'll try to put an image up here. I want to say that it's like Stash Stitcher. It has something to do with Stash because part of her whole deal is that her patterns are she designs her charts with the idea that that the folks who stitch them can and or should just pick up whatever they have in their stash to stitch the design. So she's not real particular about, even for model stitchers, about what colors you use, whether you go out and get the DMC, whether you use what you have on hand. So that's a really interesting concept. So the piece that I'm doing for her is because I was looking for a pride flag, and she just so happened to have a pride flag, an inclusive pride flag, and it says safe space as well. So this is a safe space, and if I put the image, it'll be right there. But it says this is a safe space. It has the inclusive pride flag, and then it's got hearts in different pride flags all around it. So I thought that was fantastic. So it was just the sort of pattern I was looking for Pride-triotic stitching, and hashtag Pride-triotic. So it was just the right kind of thing that I was looking for Pride-triotic. It was also free. The only payment is that I have to send her pictures of it when I'm finished. I can choose any fabric I like. I can choose any flosses that I like. And the flosses, they're right here. Oh, and I'm bumping the camera. Okay, so the flosses I'm thinking I'm going to use, let me fix the camera. So I have here, these are the Leo and Roxy Pride flosses. So this is the entire inclusive rainbow here, with just, let me hide these, so that's not working. But this is the inclusive rainbow. It's even got the black and the brown and everything. So these are the Leo and Roxy threads that I got from Evertote last month. So I'm planning on using that, and then I also, because you may recall that last week I was so excited about the Color and Cotton that I got for June, and I was talking about how it was already a great rainbow. Well, I went ahead and I filled out my rainbow. I found a perfect blue from my other Color and Cotton. So I got this blue, I added it to the 5 colors that I got. Actually, I added a yellow as well. I added it to the 5 colors that I got in my pack last month, and I'm going to use these to stitch. This is what happens when I just do random things and I don't plan them out ahead of time. I'm going to use these to do the Traveling Humbug. So I am sort of, I don't know if stealing is the right, taking inspiration from one of the Traveling Humbugs that I just recently saw on Instagram. I can't remember who posted it. I apologize. If you were the person who posted it, or you know who posted it, let me know. But somebody did a fantastic version of the humbug that was a Pride humbug. And if I remember correctly, there was it was mirrored humbugs, and I think one was in the rainbow Pride flag, and the other was in the trans Pride colors, and they were face to face, and it had a rainbow border, and it was fantastic, and I loved it. So I'm going to take inspiration from that, and I think I'm going to do my humbug in these fabulous rainbow colors. So yeah, those are all the intentions I have for new starts. I don't know when those new starts will be coming. The Safe Space Pride flag will be coming soonest of those 3, just because that's a model stitch. So I'll be working on that at some point soon. I think I have decided that I'm actually going to stitch it on the other half of this piece of fabric, because I think that would be really cool. So yeah. So Those are intentions, not all for 24 hours of cross stitch. just for the upcoming future ideas that I'm having. I say them here because if I say them here, I might remember better that I had those intentions. I should write them down somewhere. But yeah, so those are things that I plan on doing. Part of it is, and I may actually save the Pride Humbug. I may save Pride Humbug for September. September will be season of smalls. So if you weren't here last September, I think I was in a place where I was working on all these great big projects, and I suddenly decided, or maybe not suddenly, but I decided that I needed to work on some small stuff. I needed to work on some little bitty stuff. I think I needed a quick finish. I needed to be able to have something that I could start and finish. And so I decided on this concept of season of smalls. So September is season of smalls. And last year, Rachel and Heike and I worked together to sponsor it. And so we actually had gift cards to give away for prizes. So what we did last year, and I think I will do this whether or not anybody else joins me in sponsoring for the gifts. I will do this again this year where if you use the hashtag season of smalls on Instagram, or you send me your pictures, and I'll have a special email for that and all that sort of stuff. But if you participate, then everybody will go into a drawing for whatever prize there is. It will most likely be something like a gift certificate to my Etsy store, or gift certificates to other Etsy stores, or maybe gift certificates to Etsy in general, that kind of stuff. It'll be something small for Season of Smalls. But the whole idea is just to get a little bitty chart, and you don't have to finish it, just start it in the month of September, and that's just to give us all a break from the giant massive pieces that we're usually working on regularly. So I'll definitely be doing Season of Smalls again this year. It was a big hit last year, so I hope you all are thinking of that and planning for that. I'm planning on working on a bunch of Quirky Quakers because they are the perfect size. So I consider a small to be somewhere around 50 by 50, maybe 60 by 60, depending. If it's a full coverage piece, it needs to be way smaller than that, but to be considered a small. But like anything around the 60 by 60-ish mark. And I say that because because with Expo in the fall here, Expo coming up at the end of August, I just learned yesterday that the theme for this Expo will be the meow the merrier. So in April or March, the theme was the moo the merrier. So now we have a companion theme, the meow the merrier, which will be all cat centric. So and the basic guidelines for those charts is that they should be around 61 by 61. So Expo will be a great time to stock up on small charts that you can work on for Season of Smalls. Also, the Traveling Humbug is a great thing to work on for Season of Smalls. So just putting that out there. So where am I going now? Oh, 48 minutes already, y'all. Wow. Goodness gracious. Okay. So let's talk about my purchases, and then it'll be time to go. And I will try to get my 24 hours of cross stitch weekend started. We'll see. So this week I have, again for you, I have some floss of the month and I have some fabric of the month. Because it just so happens that after I finally showed you all the stuff last time, I got the July installments of everything this past week. I also did, I made a purchase from Kathy Davidson at Dying for Cross Stitch as well. So let me show you that stuff first. So first and foremost, I got some, I only shopped her ready to ship stuff. I did not shop any pre-orders this time, just because I was looking for instant gratification. So the first thing I got was some new hand-dyed cotton. Look at that color! How gorgeous! Gorgeous! This color is called Tutti Frutti. And I'm going to start coughing now because all of these items have some amount of fabric softener on them, and it always makes me cough, so just FYI. But how gorgeous is that color? Oh, I got two 50-yard hanks because I might add this into my pandemic from Long Dog samplers. So I got two just in case I decide to do that. because that thing requires like a ton of floss. And I wanted to be able, if I added as an actual color, I wanted to have enough of it that I could really use it on the sampler. So that's 100 yards. That should be enough. But the color's gorgeous, right? So Tutti Frutti. And I also got, and I didn't realize when I ordered this is a piece of opal linen. I thought I was just ordering regular linen, but it's a piece of opal linen. So this color is called Sand Dunes. Pardon. It is a 32 count opal linen. It's a fat quarter. It's gorgeous. Let's see if I can get it far enough back. How pretty is that? Right? Pardon. Like I said, it's the fabric softener. Gets me every time. So gorgeous, gorgeous. What's funny is that I have this reaction when I first get the fabrics, pardon. But I do not have this reaction when I'm working on the fabrics. I don't know why. Maybe it's because by the time I actually start working on the cross stitch piece, it's had time to air out a little bit. I usually take them out of the plastic bags when I store them. So, but that is gorgeous. So I'm thinking my intent when I purchased this was to use it for the creepy cryptids. And then I saw that it was opal when it arrived, and I'm like, I don't know, do I want opal for creepy cryptids? But now I'm kind of like, why not opal for creepy cryptids, right? Shiny. So, but I have some time to decide. So this is definitely a contender for creepy cryptids. Just trying to get it back in there. The way she does her labeling, this is again from Dying for Cross Stitch, Kathy Davidson. She puts a label on the bag, so I'm actually going to keep it in this bag for the time being so that I know what fabric that is. So that was Dying for Cross Stitch. Oh, I got a second piece. I forgot that I got two pieces from Kathy. Pardon the crinkling. I think this is also a linen. Let me see. Yes. So this is a 28 count linen. It is a standard linen, not an opal. And this is one of her ice dyed pieces. She has fantabulous ice dyed pieces. Look at this. How gorgeous, right? Oh my gosh, it's called hyacinth. It looks like flowers. It really does. It looks like hydrangeas to me. That's what it looks like. The tiny little hydrangeas. Maybe hyacinths have similar flowers. I'm not real familiar with hyacinths. But yeah. Gorgeous, right? Gorgeous. Look at that modeling. Look at the colors. Fabulous. Fabulous. So basically, like my strategy lately when I'm buying fabrics is I look at what a seller has available, and anything that makes my heart go pitter patter is what I buy. I mean, it's different if I'm looking for something specific. If I'm looking for a particular color, that's what it is. But in general, and this is part of the reason that that my spending has slowed down quite a bit, is because I have enough stuff, and I've seen enough different colors and different combinations that it takes a much more particular, unique piece for my heart to go. So then I don't buy as much. So it has to spark joy, as as Marie Kondo would say. If it doesn't spark joy, I don't buy it. So, and it's harder for things to spark joy now because I just have, I have probably more than any one human needs for stitching ever. So yeah, let's see the flosses that I got. Let's go with the color and cotton stuff first. I'll do the fabric first. Since we were just doing fabric. So I get the 28 count Lugana from Color and Cotton for their fabric club. And this month the color is called Harvest Moon. And this is also a contender for creepy cryptids. It might be a little bit small because it's a fat quarter, but it's a 17 by 26, so it's slightly smaller than the linen pieces. So here we go. We have Harvest Moon, which is a little bit more It looks more like a buttery yellow on camera. It's closer to a suede, like a pale buckskin in person. But that could certainly be, that could be for creepy cryptids. But I think I want something that has a little bit more visible modeling. And this is a pretty solid kind of color. There's a little bit of variation on the piece, but not a lot. It's also a bit more yellow, I think, than I really want for creepy cryptids. I want something that's more along the lines of like dirty linen, or not necessarily a grungy color, but I want something that's like parchment, dark parchment, or old paper or something like that is kind of the look I'm going for. I really like the sand a lot. It's maybe a little bit more on the tan brown side. It's got a little bit more yellow maybe than I would necessarily want, but I do like that sand color a lot. It's got some really great modeling and variation in it, so I might go with that unless I see something. Actually, I'll have to check my stash. If I have some toasted marshmallow from Bestitch Me, toasted marshmallow would be a fabulous color for that. So anyway, I'm not completely settled on what I'm going to stitch Creepy Cryptid on, but we'll see. Yeah, so now I have floss, and we're almost done. Which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. I don't know. Depends on how you're feeling. Let's see. Color and Cotton. I get their bright colorway. I get 5 of their bright / variegated, and I get 3 of their primitives. So let's start with the brights. These are the July colorways. Excuse me. So, booyah! How pretty. This is this reminds me of the retro summer colorways from Rebel Woolworks. Very, very nice. I like it a lot. So we have Crimson. We have Nectarine. Hold my hand behind them. Nectarine. We have Raincoat. It's a nice bright yellow. We have, actually, that yellow might be better for my, nah, I'm probably thinking on the fly here. We have Macaw, look at that. So that's got blue and green and yellow variegated. That's really nice. And we have Azure. I love their blues. Color and Cotton comes with the best blues. They're just fabulous. Love it. And then for the primitives, we have these for the primitives this month. Very, very nice. So first we have Moonlight. I feel like I got Moonlight as a I might have gotten this in a grab bag because I feel like I just saw a skein of Moonlight, unless it's a different dyer, in which case, who knows. Cherry Wood. This great sort of peachy tan kind of color. And then Sepia. Fabulous. Pale, like teak wood kind of color. So there are the Color and Cotton colors of the month. Now, as I understand it, the way they do it is they don't necessarily ship to subscribers the exact same colors every month. I don't think they're doing a, collect the catalog kind of thing like I am with the Dinky Dyes. It's more just a random colors that they send you. They are really good about not sending duplicates. So when I do have duplicates, it's because I've bought grab bags and stuff like that. But if you're also subscribing to the Color and Cotton Floss of the Month Club and your colors are different than mine, that's probably just because that was the luck of the draw. I do know that I have some other friends that subscribe to the Color and Cotton Floss of the Month, and they do get different colors than I have. And I've been like, why didn't I get those colors? But I always love the colors I do get. So we also have Fiberlicious. Fiberlicious just came in this week. So the inspiration of the month is Botanic Garden. You can see there's like a blue and green succulent on the front here. So that's the inspiration. And this is July's floss of the month. I really need to get in on Fiberlicious's fabric of the month, because the bold, strong colors that she does, oh my gosh. But I'm getting so many fabrics. I'm like, should I really do that? I don't know. Do I really need more fabric? Yes, no, yes, probably yes. Why not? So here are the colors. Look at that. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. This one's going to be a surprise when I show it to you. But we've got all these fabulous greens. So we have sage green. I could hold them up against my shirt. My shirt's gray today. Sage. We have aloe. Is it me you're looking for? Hello, is it me you're looking for? She comes up with some great names. This one is moss. It's really nice. Quiet stone. This is a really great variegated. Look at all of that. So it's got some brown, it's got some light and dark greens. Really nice variegation there. And lastly, Botanic Garden. So this is the namesake. I'm going to try to show you all, because this has all the colors. So in addition to the blues and the greens that we've seen, there's actually this really great run of purple through here too. And it's not coming off on camera. There's a little bit of it right there. So there's purple, green, there's I think some black, or no, it's really dark green. So there's all kinds of colors just wound up in there. And it's very, very fabulous. I love it. That's my favorite of the entire set, is this Botanic Garden one. So, folks, that's all I have for you today. That's all the flosses, all the fabrics, all the WIPs, all the intentions, all the everything. That's all the everything for the week. As I said before, I hope you're having the best week, the best day, the best weekend that's available to you. And as I always say, remember to stay hydrated. Remember to take all the meds that you need to take. And remember that you are enough. I love you all, and I will see you next time. Bye.